Dear Ma and Pa, I guess that I'm getting all the mail all right. I received letters from Harry, Pearl, George, Marion, Grace, and you both. I was very glad to get your letter, Ma dear, for you sure can write a dandy letter. You don't write me very often, but when you do, it makes me feel just as if I were at home and that you were looking straight into my eyes and talking to me as of old. It's been nearly 9 months since I last saw you all, and believe me, it feels like 9 years. I'm game though, and I will stick to the ship just as long as they think they need me. You really don't know how I enjoyed your letter, Ma, and I wish you would write me more often. I haven't gone to Paris yet, but I do expect my pass to come in from General Headquarters just about any day. I'm quite anxious to see Paris and its historical buildings. I will see them all, believe me. Nothing is going to get by me. I'm going to send you a postcard written on a table where the peace treaty was. It's a beautiful building where the table is. I've seen postcards of the palace. It was the palace of King Louis XIV. You know the palace is in Versailles. I can't spell it, but I hope you know what I mean. It's just outside of Paris. Then I will see the little city itself. But don't worry about me misbehaving, because there's really no reason you should. I've been all over this place and will take good care of myself. Have you heard the latest from over here? Because this is it. Keep away from the Battle of Paris if you want to see the Statue of Liberty. It's a good saying, but don't worry about me going wrong, for Frankie has seen too much of it in the medical corps. Well, I did have some more pictures taken of me as of late. I think they're pretty good, but my face does look a little fat. I know that I'm in good health, and I'm not getting fat, and I do just enough work to keep it down. I'll still send them home to you just as soon as I can. Tell Pa that I do want him to write more often. He writes a very interesting letter. I hope that you all write a little bit more often than you are now. Don't forget that the more letters I get, the better it is for me. Every time the fellow comes around with the mail, I'm always looking for letters, and I don't get why it makes me feel it this way, but I am blue. Ma dear, I am glad that you like the souvenirs in your Christmas present. I know that when I bought the tapestry that you would like it, for I was crazy about it myself. It surely must look great with that hand-carved frame around it. I know that I have to buy more souvenirs for friends too, but I do keep forgetting. I'll try to send Grace some more souvenirs when I go to Paris. You want to get anything that you can buy that's a good buy. At this point, I don't know when I'll be home. Some say before long, and others say not for a long time. I think myself that it will be around the last of July, or someplace around there. But really no one knows. We came very near going home with the 42nd, or some folks say. The quicker, the better. I've been over here so long that I sometimes forget that I'm an American. Believe me, it's a wonderful thing to say that you are an American. More so than when you have been in other countries. The American nation is a wonderful nation. Probably the most wonderful nation in the world. Actually, by far the most wonderful nation in the world. Next to America comes England. Those are the two most wonderful nations in the world, believe me. There are quite a few fellows who are down on England, but let me tell you that in my estimation, England comes next to America, and I believe America and England should pull together that they could run the whole world and run it right. Did you read anything about Andernock in the papers? Andernock is a bear for soldiers that are in small towns over here. We have a bunch of amusements. In all the 5, we have about 8 YMCA and YMCA restaurants. The Knights of Columbus have a big place here too. They're moving pictures every night at the KOC and at the YMCA. Then we have all sorts of shows at different theaters all across the town. Believe me, the YMCA is doing great things for the boys over here. The worst of it, though, is that the boys put the YM down. Honestly, that's not right, because they've been doing so much good. I have been over here for some time, and I've done a lot of traveling. And let me tell you that in all my traveling, wherever I go, I see the YMCA, and they are the best amusement of town. At the front lines and at St. Michel, where the cities were all blown to pieces, you'd always find the YMCA. I remember that the first night I drove a Packard truck was up to the front lines. That was only a couple of days after the armistice. I came in and there was a YMCA, and there was no other place for miles around. That's not all either. There were 2 girls in it too. You do have to give them credit. Just picture a lone city that was all blown to pieces, not a house was left standing. Then there are these 2 YMCA girls and 1 man there in a canvas tent serving hot coffee and sandwiches. It was a big tent, and the only place around there that a fellow could sit down without freezing. Now, that's just one instance that made an impression on me. I could tell you a million such things, but don't have to tell you to make you think well of the YMCA. I know for all I've been doing is traveling ever since I landed over here. The fellow that threw the YMCA down are fellows that spend their time in one town or are fellows that are no good at all. Honestly, that's my opinion. If anyone asks you about them, please tell them. For now, give my regards to all my friends and tell them I will be home someday, if I'm in luck. I will write again soon. With love, Frank. My dear Ma, as you know, this is Mother's Day and all the fellows are writing letters home to their mothers. I went to church at the Y this morning at around 10. The services were dandy and it made a lot of fellows think of home. You know, there are a few fellows that have reminded me that they have folks at home, for they hardly ever write. I know I don't write home very much, and perhaps they're like me, for I am always thinking of home, though I never write often. A Mr. Hudson, who is a preacher back home, or something of that sort, gave a talk on Mother's Day. It was a peach, and ended up being read to us by a letter that he wrote to his mother, who is dead, and is up in heaven. See, it was some letter. I think as much of my dear Ma as he does, but could never write a letter like that. It was surely a wonderful letter. He asked her for forgiveness for not being kinder when he was young and when she was alive, and how he thought that he was the only one that knew anything, thought that his mother was old-fashioned and all that. He said that all he thought about was that his mother was a servant for him, and him only, that she should be the one where he fixes his hat when he couldn't find it, and to mend his clothes. Then he went on to say how he was a little boy, when he had bad headaches and everything refused to help him that he put on, that it was her soothing hands that stopped the pain. I couldn't start to tell you all that was said in the letter, but believe me, it made tears stream down the cheeks of more than a few boys. I suppose there was a bunch of them that had no mother. It must have been a sad day for them to place everything that you would go and to think about your mother all day, for it's Mother's Day. Ma dear, you know that I could never write a letter the way that this preacher did, that I love you with all the love that is in my heart. This day I will think of you all day and throughout the day. I think of you all the time anyway, but today is Mother's Day and I just couldn't think of anything else but you. I will never forget how you, all your life, gave to me so much that you yourself would be down out of luck often. I will never forget how much you have done for me and the rest of your children. I never knew a mother to give or to work any harder for her children than you did for yours. I never knew how dear it was to have a mother before coming over here. It is sure the dearest thing in any man's life, and let me tell you that when us soldiers get home, we will all try to make it up to our darling mothers. This is all I have time to write for now, but I want this to be a regular Mother's Day letter, so I'm going to write you another one tomorrow. Telling you about all the things that are going up here is going to make my day go a little bit faster. I will close now, but I hope you to know that I love you so much. Your son, Frank. Dear Ma and Pa, I'm writing a few words to let you know that at last I am coming home to you. We'll leave Germany the 26th of May and go straight to a port. We might not have to wait in port for more than a few days, but at least we will be there and then set sail for the dear old United States. This will be the last letter that you get from me over here. I'm very sorry that it couldn't be a nice long one, but the next time you will hear from me, I will be talking to you in person. I'm so happy that I'm coming home. I figure that we ought to be in the States around June 15th or so. It might take us a little bit longer, but I doubt it. This is going to be the last mail that we can send from over here, for they are waiting for me to finish this so that they can take it along to the post office. So I will say goodbye, and until then, I will see you back home in the dear old United States. With love, your son, Frank.